For weeks now, Washington has been buzzing with one big question. Is Donald Trump planning a new global superclub, and does India have a seat at the table? The discussion centers on something called the Core-5 or C5, a proposed grouping of 5 major powers: the United States, China, Russia, India and Japan. It is a concept that appeared in reports by Defense One and Politico, which claimed it was mentioned in a longer unpublished version of the Trump administration's new national security strategy. The White House denies the document exists, but the idea itself has set off a global debate. But the question is, why? Because this would be a platform that replaces traditional groups like the G7, and it would leave Europe out. And that is a big shift. So what is the C5 supposed to be? The C5 is described as a high-level forum bringing together the world's most influential states, all of them nuclear powers, all major economies, and together home to over 3.5 billion people. Now the idea is very simple. Instead of large, slow, multilateral systems, these 5 countries would hold regular strategic summits and decide on major global issues, from West Asia diplomacy to technology deals. Report says one of the proposed agenda items was Israel-Saudi normalization, something Trump has pushed before. So the question arises, why does this matter for India? Because this grouping would place India on the same table as the US, China, Russia and Japan, the 4 biggest players shaping the current world order. For New Delhi, this is both an opportunity and a challenge. Opportunity because India would be recognized as a central power in global decision-making, not a junior partner, not a regional player, but a core global pillar. And why we are calling it a challenge? Because India would have to sit in the same room with both China and the United States at a time of intense rivalry, and with Russia, which is both a defense partner and a friend of China. Balancing these contradictions is not easy, but it is something India has already been doing through BRICS, SCO and the Quad. So the another question is, why is Trump reportedly looking at the C5? According to the leaked text, Trump's strategy suggests a clear shift. He believes America cannot dominate the entire world and should instead focus on issues that directly affect US interests. This means fewer global commitments and more selective partnerships. The draft reportedly frames Europe as a region facing civilizational erasures and says Europe may no longer be central to American strategy. Instead, it suggests stronger ties with countries like Hungary, Poland, Italy and Austria, which often challenge Brussels. Instead, it suggests stronger ties with countries like Hungary, Poland, Italy and Austria, which often challenge Brussels. It even mentions encouraging some of them to distance themselves from the EU, a dramatic shift from decades of US policy. This fits Trump's long-standing discomfort with the G7, which he has called outdated. For him, the real players are the big powers, not the traditional Western alliance. Another question comes up. Is Trump already thinking along these lines? Politico points to some early signs. He approved the sale of NVIDIA's H200 chips to China even during a tech rivalry. He sent Jared Kushner and businessman Steve Witkoff to meet President Putin in Moscow. He is comfortable dealing directly with strongman leaders and rival powers. Former official says the C5 idea may not have been discussed formally, but it matches Trump's instincts. Big personalities, big powers, and fewer rules. Another question comes in. What does this mean for India? If a C5 ever becomes real, India becomes part of the inner circle defining global security and geopolitics. But it also means navigating a table where US-China rivalry is intense and the US-Russia relations are volatile. For India, this would be a major test of its strategic autonomy and also a major upgrade of its global standing. Right now, it remains an idea, not confirmed, not official, but the fact what Washington is even debating, it shows how the global order is shifting and how India is increasingly seen as a central pillar of that new order. And that is why this buzz matters for India and for the world.